And he's like, yeah, I've got all these plans though. You guys need to get, and nothing ever happens. So fuck that guy. Anyways, hey there, internet. I'm Eric,
I'm Ike.
and you're listening to Just Cool Enough. This week I'm drinking Diet Sunkissed Orange, which is surprisingly good. I really enjoy it.
But it's not Surge.
Oh no, it's not. Unfortunately, I haven't had Surge in so long. Oh, I don't even remember what it tastes like, Surge. It's unfortunate. Thankfully, one of our listeners is actually offering to send us some. He's actually
Was it us or was it Joe? Because it looked like
but
he said
it
Joe.
was Joe, but then somebody had to go and fucking reply. Like we could have just pretended like we were Joe. But anyways, he emailed us, so you can read that. And if you want to email us, the email is always theshow@justcoolenough.com. But we had a listener email us, so why don't you read that on air, Ike?
I will. And we also, just in the meantime, we also had, just so they don't feel like we forgot about them, we did have one listener also donate to us, which you can do by going on our page and clicking the donate button.
I started that because he also wrote a message in his donate, so I figured we'll read that.
All right. So this is from Josh. Josh writes, Joe, comma, I'm now listening to the Boxing Day episode. I was out of the country with no internet. I about died from boredom anyway. I have some Surge willing to send a can. If you're still interested, let me know.
And then somebody, who will rename Ike, said, don't send it to Joe, send it to me, Ike. It would be a waste on him, wouldn't appreciate it. He'd probably take a sip and be like, what the fuck, and dump out the rest, no taste. See, I think it would be easier if we were like, yeah, here's my address. It's weird. It's a P.O. box in California. I don't know. It's weird how that works.
But but it going to you still does not get me any Surge.
Well, you can have it. I got plenty. I stick to diet. I'm a huge fan of. I moved on in life, honestly. Like I felt the pains. I got over it. You know, when it ran out. It's like what are the drugs they do in Wolf of Wall Street? You know, they stopped making it. They shut down, so we can't have any Quaaludes anymore. So we just had to move on. I went through my withdrawal. I moved on to Mountain Dew for a while, and eventually that's like methadone for Surge, and it was a good time. But eventually I moved on. Now I'm a Diet Dr. Pepper, Diet Cream Soda, and on occasion Diet Sunkist guy. So you know.
I'm still a SodaStream guy, but I will always make room for Surge.
Yeah. I mean, I'd try one. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't drink one. I mean, I'm a huge monster who has no shame. There's just so, like, my mom made an apple pie last week, and my sister was like, you better not eat it all. Like, I'm gonna eat more of the pie, because normally, when my mom makes something like a pie, I usually eat the most of it, of everyone else, because it's there and no one else is willing. And my sister's like, this time I'm gonna eat the most of it. And I was like, it's not even a contest. It's really, there are levels of shame I can go to that would turn off even the most disgusting human beings. Like, I have like the depths of shamelessness within me are like
Limitless.
someday scholars will write papers on how just much of a disgusting monster I can become, and still I'm like a day walker. Like you can't tell that I'm that full moon comes out, I turn into a disgusting monster werewolf and eat everything in sight. So and lo and behold, like I was like, fine, that's it. Like I had like 2 slices, and there was like one slice left, and she had 2 slices, and she was like, I'm gonna eat that. I was like, okay, I'll give you an hour. Like I'm playing with a handicap. Like I'm not even trying at this point. I'll give you an hour. Like 30 minutes later, she's like, I can't do it. You can have it. And I was like, I told you. I still waited the full hour just in case, and then I ate it. Because I'm just who I am. I can't stop it.
See, I'm good about not eating food that isn't mine. Like when I had a roommate before, and she'd buy stuff like candy and like anything that I would totally just tear open and like eat all of in one sitting. But she bought it, so it was good enough for me to be like, it's not mine. It can stay there. She would like eat a cookie like once every 2 weeks, and it would just stay there forever. And like, but the moment she was like, oh yeah, you can have some. I'm like, that was the worst mistake you could ever make, was offering me any of it. She's like, no, I don't care. And like the next day, it's just gone.
I'm exactly the same. Like if my sister buys it, and and she can hide it in her room. She got plenty. I'm not gonna go in there. She can easily like. I know that there's like candy that sat there for like 2 years that I just don't really want it anyways. But it's I probably would have eaten it if it were out in the general common area. But it's not, so I don't touch it. But it's when it's like, yeah, I bought this and we can. It's for all of us. So it's like, oh, so you mean you're gonna grab as many as you can before I destroy it? Okay.
Well, and the problem is at my girlfriend's parents' house, her mom puts like a candy dish out, and I just happen to always sit next to it, and it's always the fun little mini like Twix or whatever. I'm like, ooh, Twix, and I'm like, ooh, another one. And there's like before it's been where there's been like a pile of wrappers there, and I felt like shameful for it. So what I do is I shove them in my pockets as I eat them so that it doesn't look like that. I mean, clearly there's no more candy in the dish, but I don't know who ate it. And then I go home, my girlfriend's getting ready to do the laundry. She pulls all the shit out of my pocket. She's like, what is this? I'm like, oh, I don't know how this got there.
Candy thieves, they steal candy and then they hide the evidence in the store. I read about it in Rolling Stone. They like eat it in the store and then they hide it, and the innocent bystander. Yeah, I have that. Like nobody has candy dish, but I remember one of the guys in our sketch group when we had the meetings at his house. A lot of times he would just have a bowl of almonds, and I'd be like, fuck, and I'd just eat most of the almonds, and then by the time they're gone, I'm like, well, at least the almonds are gone. And he's like, oh, we're out of almonds. He'll grab a bag and then fill the bowl up, and I'm like, God damn it, Donald, fuck you.
Well, and on the same vein, my girlfriend's mother likes to just buy me bags of or things of cookies. She'll just buy me a whole package of cookies and be like, here you go. I'm like, I have no self-control. Yeah, my self-control is I might as well eat them all now.
I would just tell her to fuck off. That's what I've done. I've done that plenty of times. Like my sister would be like, it'd be like 8 in the evening, and she's like, I was gonna order from this fast food place, or I was gonna go down the street and get. Do you want to get chili fries? And I'll just be like, fuck you, and that's my response. Like yes, of course I want chili fries, but fuck you. Don't even ask me.
Yeah, but I think when it's your sister, you totally can do that and get away with it. But when it's like your girlfriend's parents, and I've even said to her, I'm like, oh, I really appreciate it, but like I'm trying to like be on this diet, and like, but so I'll take this one package this one time, and then like next week she's like, hey, I got you Oreos this time. I'm like, no, I don't understand. So for Christmas, she's like, oh, here's your Christmas gift, your night before Christmas gift, because she always gets PJs for everyone. So this year I got Cookie Monster PJs, but of course she gave me another box of soft cookies that I ate in 1 hour.
2 things I want to point out. First, you and Amanda have been dating long enough that you're probably comfortable enough to playfully tell her mom to fuck off when she gives you cookies. Second, this might actually just be her trying to tell you that you're not good. Like she's trying to get you fat so Amanda will leave you. Like she knows it's a struggle.
I try to put it on the other side. Maybe that she's afraid that I'll get too ripped and then leave her daughter.
Oh, that's true. That's that you just be like, because you got a solid job, you got a career, so you just get ripped abs, and suddenly you're like, get out of here.
I don't need you.
I don't need you and your goddamn Renaissance fairs and steampunk bullshit. I'm into sports now because I'm in shape. I imagine that's what I think. Like, the more in shape you are, the more into sports you are, which is the exact opposite, honestly. The less in shape you are, the more you're into sports.
Because it's everything that you wished you could do.
Yeah.
Like touch your toes. Well, our next email, which was a $20 donation, and we appreciate it, was coming to us.
Oh, wow. See, my dyslexia kicked in when I read this morning, and I thought it said $2. I was like, fuck it. Who cares? It's $2.
Or dyslexia, like 2 cents, whatever, we'll read it. This is Jay. He's from Australia, and I want to preface this by saying there might be a point, because he talks about chemistry over this coming summer. I might not be able to do the show for about 5 weeks because I was thinking about planning to take a trip to Australia. But anyway, he says, hey guys, I thought about it.
You told us in advance, and you're not telling us the week of that you won't be here for 5 weeks.
Well, I mean, yeah, next week I'm not going to be here. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, guys, I thought it was about time for another donation, albeit not as much as I'd like to due to the the shit Aussie dollar at the moment, which is why I want to go to Australia, because they've really it's like dollar for us. Like
I want to go there. I want to go there because a friend of the show, an old radio buddy, Maddle, was like, dude, like, Australian chicks love American accents. I'm like, really? Because I fucking love Australian chicks with Australian accents, like it's a match made in heaven.
Funny how that works out. Anyway, been loving each one of you guys. Been loving everything each one of you guys. That could have been an awkward statement if I misread it. Been loving everything each one of you guys have been doing since back in WC Radio days. You guys have some weird abortion of chemistry together. Whatever it is, it's working. I really haven't had anything interesting to email about, so hopefully things will pick up for you guys on that front. These movie commentaries are especially funny, by the way. Looking forward to the future. Keep it up. Forever listening/watching, Jay.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Thank you so much. And speaking of commentaries, we actually last week, as a New Year's present to all you listeners, we did a moving commentary for Congo. You can find that on the website. It's on the front page at the moment, but if you're listening to this later, all you have to do to find all our movie commentaries is hover over on the website. There's a button that says podcast. Hover over it. Look at the drop-down menu. Third thing down, movie commentaries. We got a bunch of them. I forget how many of these we've actually done. But we've done a substantial number. I'll count them.
5 or 6.
2, 3, 4, 5. I think we've done like 10.
Really?
Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's 20 hours of my life that I can't get back.
Yeah, we've done a total of 10, I think. I think they're all really interesting. I think you'll all really enjoy what we did with them and stuff. You can go back and listen to them. We've got Starship Troopers, RoboCop, Kick-Ass, The Expendables 1 and 2, and Congo. Like, Congo was just, we were like, fucking, we need to record something because we have like Joe for like 5 minutes. And I looked, and we're thinking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 90s, which we may still get to, but fucking Congo was there, and we're like, God, that movie's god awful. Like, I forgot most of that movie, but I remembered that it was god awful, and it still is, and it's still, I think our commentary works really well. So you should check that out at justcoolenough.com.
But and also Australia. If you have any ideas, Jay, of where to go, I was thinking about going to Melbourne for a little bit, but let me know if there's anything I should go see, because I was planning to go to New Zealand because you have to see the Hobbit stuff.
Yeah, walk that Hobbit tour that they built. It's crazy because they built that for Lord of the Rings, all the Shire shit, and then they just kind of left it, and then like it like became just a sheep pasture, and then they're like, oh shit, we're making the Hobbit, and they had to rebuild it, but this time they made it out of like real material, not like balsa wood and plaster. So now it's a permanent thing. So you don't go to visit, and it's just a bunch of like a hill with a bunch of weird holes in it.
On a related note, but not related to Hobbits, I had a student of mine today. He watches/listens to the show. He told me that
I'm sorry.
You are his least favorite of the 3 show hosts because he thinks you are not funny and you talk too much. And for some reason, he really likes Joe. I'm not saying that I would expect it to be me, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Joe.
Yeah, that's the thing that threw me off, because it's like you talk too much and you're not funny. It's like, I know these things. Like, this is. I've mentioned this a lot of times. I think I'm the weakest part of this show, and I never shut up. But yeah, Joe. But then again, you don't talk as much when he's here. Like,
it's true because you dominate the airwaves, followed closely by Joe.
Yeah, and then Joe shows up and he's like blah 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 blah, and he
like I kind of think about like the Howard Stern show, where I'm more like the what's her face who kind of. Robin,
you're just there to laugh in the background, and occasionally we make racist remarks at your expense.
Yeah.
Occasionally we go, all right, what do you think about this? And you're like, I don't know. Anyways, and then we just move on.
I think that bet sums it up.
Yeah. We are the Howard Stern of podcasts. That's certainly not an incredibly inaccurate boast at all.
I'm not sure if that would be if somebody said that. I'm not sure if I would take that as a compliment or as an insult, really. It could go either way.
I mean, like, we're not saying it, but you guys at home, feel free to say it. If you want to say we're the Howard Stern of podcasts, or we're the serial of comedy podcast, like whatever it is, we're the WTF of 3 nerdy guys that live with their parents, whatever it is, then, that's for you to say. That's not for us
you to say on places like iTunes.
Yeah, on iTunes with your 5-star ratings.
5 stars. These guys are like the Howard Stern. We're not saying that we're saying that.
We're not saying it. I mean, I have set up a bunch of dummy iTunes accounts that say that exact same thing, but we certainly aren't, because we're humble here at the Howard Stern of Podcasts. We should just change the name of the show to the Howard Stern of Podcasts. Not like and be clear, this isn't the Howard Stern show of podcasts. This is just the Howard Stern of podcasts. It's this weird-looking guy that's successful for not really sure reasons, but he's kind of like full of himself and really weird and creepy.
I think that really sums it up, really. I think, though he probably would sue us for using his name. I'm not sure if that's possible, but...
He's a public figure. We can say his name. We don't need his name.
Well, I mean, if we called our show the Howard Stern of Podcast, we'd be...
True.
Infringe.
Yeah, but satire, satire is protected speech. So we could do that. Then I don't think he'd give a shit about our podcast. No one, exactly as many people who already listen to it would listen to it if we changed the name to the Howard Stern of Podcasts.
But we get a lot more site traffic because people would see Howard Stern.
Speaking of traffic, and Wow Radio shit. I don't know where it got linked. It's somewhere on Reddit. I haven't found yet. But I did one of the first things I did when I joined Wow Radio in 2006, or 2005 actually, probably just after BlizzCon, was they had all this footage from BlizzCon they shot, and they needed someone to edit, and I was like, I'll do it, and I edited it all in like Windows Movie Maker because I had no idea what I was doing. But I did this one like behind the scenes stuff because they did these live streaming videos. It was just kind of silly. Nobody asked me to do it. I thought it would be funny. I compiled it. It's about 3 minutes of like them in a hotel room being dicks and doing fart jokes and whatever, and one guy humping the camera, and it's weird and silly and kind of a funny little thing. And for some reason, like 7 people have commented on it this past week, and like a bunch of people, like a couple hundred people, are watching it all over again, and it's like a 10-year-old video almost. It's almost, no, it's more like 9. It's almost exactly like 9 years old. Like I posted like 9 years ago, and for some reason somebody linked it on Reddit, so it just keeps getting all these people going, oh, look at how young TB was and stuff like that, and like and then like people are even commenting on some of the other videos. Like people. For some reason, those videos get hits every now and again. People watch like Lich King, Wrath of Lich King, opening ceremony thing that we recorded on a shitty DV camera, and then encode like it's an hour-long video that we had to back in the day encode at 100 megabytes. So it was just, like everything looks terrible from the past, all the BlizzCon shit we shot. But this one's like even older, and I don't know who linked it, but somebody must have, because it's just taken off right now. And thank you, because I've monetized all that shit, because I learned that lesson like later on. I was like, oh god, I should have been monetizing this because people still watch it for some reason. So I made like 14, 15 cents so far on this shit, just because something happened and now people are fucking looking at all that shit.
Wow, you're rolling in it, man.
Yeah, I haven't found the exact thread it was linked in, but it's like, yep, this is coming from Reddit. Somebody on Reddit posted this, and then it's taken off. Yeah, it's a couple hundred people already. So thank you for the 15 cents of estimated earnings that I'm going to be getting from this video. That's awesome. I want to find the thread, like who posted. Like I don't think TB posted it, because it's kind of weird. But I just don't know. It's like I know he's got like his own subreddit, so I'm curious if it was there, because it just says Reddit is where it was posted. It doesn't say like where.
Maybe the idea is, when an artist dies, that's when they become famous. So WC Radio is kind of, well, it's died, so perhaps now it's become more famous.
Possibly.
And that's where you're reaping the rewards of all 15 cents. It's worth more dead than alive.
15 estimated earning cents, subject to change, and not like it matters because you need $100 before they even send you any money. Uh, so I just thought that was weird. I was like, just noticing like it's like why does everyone keep commenting on this video? It's the weirdest goddamn thing. But anyways, that's the thing. Speaking of things, I actually found stories to talk about since I thought we kind of exhausted everything. We like all of our talking to each other for the past 3 weeks because we keep having no stories and covering everything that's happened to us. So we needed something to talk about. So the first thing is this is I didn't know that this was a thing. But apparently it was. Back in the 80s, Ted Turner, who's the owner of CNN and other television networks and this crazy eccentric billionaire, actually made a video that CNN was intending to play if the world was destroyed in a nuclear holocaust. And the video actually, like, it's been rumored for a while. A lot of people, I guess, knew it existed, but portions of it actually leaked to the internet, so you can actually watch bits of it. And it's like this, like a band, playing this very somber music. And one of the things that I didn't realize is I'm a huge fan of the Gremlins 2. I watched a lot as a kid. There's this scene just like this where like the guy who's a media mogul plays this like end of the world tape where like about how the world has ended and it's sad, but at this television station thanks you for the, and that was a parody of that this whole time. Like the writers knew about this video way back when and actually parodied it.
I have not yet watched it, but it does sound odd.
Yeah.
I don't know about entertaining. It's weird when, like, I've heard of actors who have had, they have their, eulogies pre-written so that as soon as they die, it's ready to go. But I always find that.
Yeah, like CNN will have like the for like actors and like politicians and famous people who are really old, they probably already have like a pre-cut tape of like so-and-so died this week. Here's a highlight of their movies or their speeches or pictures of them and stuff like that. But it's just strange that it's like, yeah, and also this is the video you run if Gene Hackman dies. This is the video you run if George H.W. Bush dies. This is the video you run if North Korea nukes the planet and we all die in a fiery holocaust. So.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's somewhere in one of those buildings where it is just a whole hallway of just in case videos. This is the video you play just in case the guy who was supposed to play the video dies, who was supposed to play the video just in case.
I think that there was a sketch like that. I don't remember who did it, but there's a sketch like that where it was like it was like SNL. It was like Tom Brokaw doing like he was going on vacation, so he was pre-taping a bunch of things. It's like Gerald Ford was eaten by wolves today. It's like, come on, how likely is that to happen?
What do you look for in sketch comedy that would be akin to that? When you write your things, are you looking at the media? Are you looking at current events, or do you just try to pull obscure things from random places to make your comedy?
I mean, a lot of my sketches are written for me, so it's like, what if me here? So a lot of it's like me as a character and stuff like that. But I did have to, for the UCBs holding the auditions for their house sketch teams in Los Angeles, and I had to write a packet for that. And one of the things they were looking for was topical sketches, which is not something I generally do because I tend to write more evergreen stuff that is good forever because it takes so damn long for the process of like I write it and I rewrite it a couple of times. It might take a while, and then because our show's only twice a month, and we normally do 1 or 2 sketches, so it might be a while before that sketch ever sees the light of day, even if it does. So I don't typically write things that are current events, but I had to for this, and I actually wrote a sketch about I was like, crap, what do I do? So I just kind of perused the news for a few days until I read that story about how the CIA would rectally feed people in detention centers. So it was like, it became a sketch. It was like the newest weight loss craze, rectal infusion. So which is mostly just a commentary on how fucking awful that is, and I put the actual details from the report, from the congressional report about like they didn't even have doctors, and it wasn't like protein powder. It was like, you know, pureed nuts and like spaghetti and meatballs like shoved up people's asses and stuff. That's that. But yeah, I mean, typically I write sketches for the people that in my sketch group, because that's the easiest way to do it. It's like, who do I have in it? I have myself, Tiffany, and Heather, and maybe, you know, a couple of others. So I write for those. But yeah, that's typically what I go for is weird premises. I like weird premise. I've always kind of liked watching sketch comedy that's a weird premise. I don't watch as much topical stuff. I like the kind of more weirder stuff.
I've always found the weird stuff, though, to be, well, I think the most ingenious, because, I mean, you can look at current events and be able to kind of satirize it, but I think looking for, like, for example, Modern Family tonight, they were having a clown funeral. So one of the guys who taught them all at clown school had passed away. So then they had everyone dress up in their clown outfits and bury this guy. And when they're lowering it down, they use the whistle. It was like, and like put it in the ground. So it was clearly stuff that like would really be odd and probably wouldn't happen. But somebody somewhere said, you know what? I think it would be just uncomfortable enough or funny enough to try to pull it together and use that as a comedy bit that it worked. And I guess that's the key, is finding those weird things that somebody go, this would be totally untasteful if it were to really happen, so that's why we're going to do it.
And it also, it's execution, because there's this movie I just watched yesterday. It came in Netflix called Dead Snow 2, and I really like the first Dead Snow movie.
That's the Nazi one, right?
Yeah, the first movie is about these. It's a Norwegian horror movie about these like people in Norway go to this cabin in the mountains, and a bunch of Nazi zombies show up and start murdering them. And it's a really fun movie. I thought it was fun. And this one, the second one, tries to be a lot wackier, and it doesn't. It kind of falls short in a lot of ways, but it definitely, like, because the whole plot is that like the one surviving character gets his arm cut off in the movie, and this movie he wakes up and they sew the arm back, but it's actually the zombie arm, so now he's got Nazi zombie strength, and it's just like wackiness ensues, and then he has to fight him, and it falls flat a little bit, but it definitely tries to be a lot more wacky and silly. So it's just execution. I don't know what comedy is weird. Like it's super subjective. Some people think, you know, certain things are funny. Some people don't. Like a lot of my friends watch the show The Birthday Boys, and I love them when they perform live, but something about their show is just kind of weird and out there, too weird and out there for me. I don't know. People love it, and it's just, I guess it's not for me. Some people think Joe is funny. You know, it's just a weird thing. It's a super subjective thing, and it's also an art form, so you can't really tell.
I still don't see Joe being funny.
Yeah.
Don't see it.
Also, we got a reply from Josh about this surge that you can read in our email box if you want to. We might as well.
Let me go fish that open, because I think I closed my email. Gmail. Oh, by the way, how did you enjoy D&D this week?
Oh, very well. I don't think we have to talk about it, but yeah.
I was trying to fill the air while I went to the...
Yeah, I stabbed some stuff. I'm happy to be level 6. I get an extra attack now, so I get to stab a bunch of things.
Well, but you're not... I mean, I've never really see you stab as much as you are singing.
Well, yeah, it's weird. Like I'm built more of a utility character. I'm basically help other people to be amazing. Like we have a barbarian that is just a fucking blender now, and I picked up a spell, Fairy Fire, which basically anyone I hit with it becomes highlighted, so you have advantage against them. So he's gonna help. That's gonna help.
It's a game advantage now. The old one, you just lit them up so you could see them in the dark.
Yeah, this you light them up, and I think it said gives advantage. If it doesn't, I'm going to pick a different spell, but I'm pretty sure it said give advantage, which is why I picked it over Thunderwave.
Josh said to us regarding our surge idea, he said, ha ha ha, I'll send some to each of you, even to Eric if you want some. I have several left, and I don't see myself drinking anymore. It was good, don't get me wrong, but I was drunk and ran out of normal soda to mix my super cheap vodka with. So I mixed Surge and super cheap vodka. Do not recommend. Try to use it as a chaser. I recommend that even less. or I try to use it as a chaser. I recommend that even less. Don't judge me. Law school loans mean I can't be a liquor snob, Josh.
Yep, it says that would be cool. I might take a but then I'd have to give somebody my address, which is, not fun. But yeah, any attack roll against an affected creature or object has advantage if the attacker can see it. So yeah, I can light people up and give everyone advantage.
Maybe I should have stayed with my pyromaniac. What was it, Drow? Because he would have gone fairy fire too. But unfortunately, he's now a silver wolf or whatever, tiger.
Tiger. Yeah, he blew up and became a tiger, or tiger is now where he used to be. And it's never been very clear what happened with that. It confuses my 13-year-old half-elf bard to no avail.
Which only confuses the new members in the party because they don't understand.
Yeah, because they didn't know her when she was an allegory for Taylor Swift. Now that she's just an allegory for Hit Girl, nobody knows.
A little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna roll a character, and it's gonna be a bard. Fuck it, then it'll be Taylor Swift, I guess. I don't know. I just stupid decision. Then she became 13 years old. I was like, now she's Hit Girl, I guess. Now she stabs people and swears a lot.
And just to go back to Josh really quick, you never mix something that you enjoy drinking with alcohol if you plan on consuming a lot of it, because usually you'll probably get to the point where you won't want to drink whatever it was that you did like at one point. Even to the point that if you get sick, maybe if you open up a can of Surge and maybe sniff it, you might relapse and vomit everywhere. It's never a good idea.
Also, you could not drink. I do that. It's not as fun, but
well, let's see. How many friends do you have?
Yeah. I don't know. 5? Maybe 6?
I have 6 now. They all fit in a carton.
Yeah. I mean, what are we using to define friends here? I mean, because I guess technically my sketch team would probably consider themselves more coworkers than friends. And so I don't know.
Do you get paid for doing your sketch comedy?
Oh fuck no! It costs a lot.
So then I wouldn't even go with coworkers because you don't even get paid for that.
Yeah. It's like a charity, like a volunteer charity that we all happen to go to, so they can't but they could get rid of me probably, but I'm the only one who has time or the capacity to edit our sketches, so.
So you made yourself invaluable, is what you're saying?
Yeah, totally. I bought a camera hoping that would make me invaluable, but then other people got better cameras, and now we can rent cameras from.
We're gonna fire Eric, but shit, he just bought a camera.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I was the first one with a camera. I thought yeah, I got the camera, and then somebody one of the other guys has all the equipment now, so we don't need the camera anymore for anything. I'm the only male actor in the sketch group, so that's there's that. But it's not like it's going to be hard to find another white dude to be in our sketch group. It's like we need a kind of funny, not ugly-ish white dude. Oh, where are we going to find that in the Los Angeles sketch community? So
you better figure out a new way.
Yeah, I edit. I mean, Trey can edit, but he has no time to edit. So I'm the only one who has the time and the capability to edit our sketches.
And I hope that you moved up from using Windows Media Editing.
Oh yeah. Now I use Adobe Premiere. So no more Windows Movie Maker for me. So I mean, I miss those days, but they changed Windows Movie Maker so much that it's not even that good. I mean, I probably could use iMovie. I know plenty of people who do post sketches in Los Angeles that just use iMovie that don't even know how to use Final Cut or anything. But yeah, no, I use a proper editing tools. So.
Are those the same editing tools that you used for trying to get handsome for who? For me? You don't need to do that.
Yeah. It's because I had the one piece. Because I didn't shower today, but I showered yesterday, so my hair looks passable, but it's still it's not behaving totally. So I'm trying to.
Oh, and then once you take your headphones off, I don't know about you, but for me, then I get the weird stuff happens with my hair.
Yeah, I wear my headphones too long, and then the hair gets all pushed down here, so I think I'm going balding, but just along here, in a weird strip for some reason, and I'm like, I'm losing my hair, but only here, which is a place that you don't lose hair first. You like start here or you start here. But not here. But for some reason, I'm just convinced. Like, it freaked me out one day. I was like, oh god, like when I was like 22, I was like, no. And then I was like, oh, that's where my headphones sit all day. That's the thing.
No, I usually like push my hair back when it gets really long, and then I get this weird like it's sticking up on both sides, but not in the middle. It's not very flattering.
Yeah, I got like a shitload of like cowlicks, so like it's hard getting my hair to like do like I have like 2 hairstyles that I can actually pull off like I tried combing the other way, but then like this cowlick gets in the way, and yeah, so it's never now I fucked up my hair.
Now you messed it up.
Now I fucked it up. See, now it's all fucked up, and everyone's going to realize that it's actually a wig. So, so that's my own personal thing, just always freaking out about the level of my hair. Even though there's really no reason I should worry, but it still freaks me out every time. But that's a thing for me. So speaking of things, so let's say, for example, you build a robot.
I build a robot.
That robot goes out and it buys drugs. So are you culpable for the events of that robot? Because you technically you weren't there for the transaction. Now, and unless you specifically, like, there's this weird thing now where we're having to try and redefine the law and figure out who, like, because now that's a thing. Because apparently there was this, it was sort of an art exhibit, I guess, where a guy created a sort of digital robot, a sort of a script of some sort, and he sent it to the darknet, which is, if you don't know, it's kind of this like very like dark internet that you can't just access by opening up Chrome. You have to download other programs. It's basically where mostly just drugs are sold. But there's other things in there, that some terrible, some just people who want, like, crazy, like, libertarians who are like, I don't want the government knowing what I'm doing, and then also all the horrible dregs of society that still exist. But they created this robot, sent it into the darknet, and then a couple of days later, a package of apparently a passport and 10 ecstasy pills arrived. A fully a legit falsified Hungarian passport and 10 ecstasy pills. So the question is the person, like, who is who is at fault there? Because the person apparently was not, like, did not specifically build it for the purposes of
obtaining drugs
or this falsified passport, but they still received them nonetheless. So the question is it the person who sent the robot into the wild, the one culpable for this, or is it the person who designed the program culpable for this? And there's this whole legal thing, like, if you build a robot and it buys drugs, and then are you culpable for that? It's this really interesting question.
But if you have a kid and that kid grows up and buys drugs, are you, as the parent, culpable for the transgressions of the kid?
I mean, there is some logic to that, because I mean, if the kid is selling drugs from your house, then you are culpable. But the kid has, sentience and is a free will, and whereas a robot doesn't. We can program a robot to do, like, there is no artificial intelligence yet, so it's like the idea that you, like, but who, like, if you just put together the robot and you said, hey, can you go pick up some groceries, and it comes back with a kilo of heroin, you're like, what do you do? Like, there's this whole sort of gray area about, can people start, like, because this is actually this.
I would have to say, in my opinion, it would be, what was the robot designed to do? If it was just designed to go out and buy something and come back with it, I would say, well, I didn't program to get drugs. It just bought something and came back with it. But if it was specifically designed to go on the black market to purchase something, like, illegal, then I would say, well, then it's the designer's fault. But I suppose he also did release it in an illegal area, if you will. It's not like he expected to come back with a dozen roses when he sent it into Darknet.
Yeah, and they talk about it in this article about how if the law says that a person must knowingly purchase the stuff, then
know.
then he knows. But laws sometimes say if a person may not engage in this behavior, and thus because he technically did engage in it, he didn't knowingly do it.
But he put the robot there.
He put the robot there and will receive the drug. So it's like, this whole thing. There's this really interesting movie you might, I don't know if our listeners or you have ever seen, but it's called Frank. And it's about this old man who's got Alzheimer's. So his son gets him this robot helper to keep him fed and stuff like that. And then the guy convinces the robot to steal for him, because he used to be a jewelry thief and stuff like that. So he actually he's going jewelry heisting with this robot, and the robot's is the one that steals. So it's this whole thing. How much, how culpable are you? If I designed the robot, but someone else used it to, and it did that, it's a question of emerging technologies and something that we haven't quite defined. What the laws mean anymore in certain ways.
Great movie, by the way. I bought it as soon as I could.
Yeah,
I enjoyed Frank.
It's really good.
But I think at that point, with the idea of Frank, where the robot was used to produce something through a third party, I suppose it would at that point depend on what you put in the fine print. I will give you this robot with the understanding that I am not responsible for anything it does or you do with it in order for, whatever. It's now your problem, not mine.
Yeah, because in the example of Frank, obviously the character, the old man character, would be culpable because the robot did not actively seek out this stuff. It was his direction. He told the robot exactly what to do in that case. But if you were just if you went to bed and your helper bot, your fucking whatever vacuum cleaner thing from the Jetsons, I forget what it's called, goes out and mugs somebody and then comes back and cooks you eggs in the morning, are you culpable for that?
No, I would assume not without a direct order.
Yeah, but again, the laws aren't.
Yeah,
laws could be, because the wording of laws vary from state to state, because that would be a state crime. So it's all up in the air. It's the way things are.
I say build more robots and just keep letting them go on the darknet, let them buy up everything. That's how you prevent drugs from getting on the street. Yeah.
That or because apparently I didn't even know this is a thing. You can set up a bot to peruse the darknet and give it a budget. That's what they did. They set up this automated online shopping bot with a budget of $100 of Bitcoin per week, and that's what it decided to buy. I don't know, but then again, this is all it's not I sent my robot butler to the store and he came back with a pound of heroin. It's I gave my robot butler $200 in cash and sent him down this alleyway, and he came back with heroin. It's not I mean, if you did this, if I sent him $100 and sent him to Amazon, he'd probably get me some shampoo and a Hello Kitty backpack. But no,
comes back with heroin.
Yeah, it's also the set. What did you expect him to buy on the darknet?
I sent him to the darknet, and he came back with a box of chocolates and a teddy bear.
Yeah.
But I want to know though because the other shady part of this is not the robot didn't have funds, because they clearly set it up with the funds. Yeah. So I would have been more impressed if here's a robot that has no funds and comes back with 10 bills of ecstasy and a fake passport.
This wasn't the only thing. Apparently, they've been doing this a lot. Once a month, he buys stuff. He bought jeans. He bought this hat that has a camera built into it. A fake Sprite can where you can keep money in. A couple of pairs of sneakers and stuff, and just all workout equipment. Just stuff. And
this was an artist's installation, a digital installation.
Yeah. Prepay for some reason he bought a Visa card, I think, or I don't know, but yeah, that's just what they set up this bot to do it, and that's what he did. He bought cigarettes and apparently the Lord of the Rings trilogy and handbags and drugs.
I wonder what that says about the bot.
Yeah, or just the availability of things you can buy on Darknet. Because I don't know much about Darknet, so I just assumed it's all drugs. But I can imagine like fucking knockoff jeans or stuff like that would be available there, like people selling stuff at price. But I imagine they probably sell normal stuff, but most of it might be stolen. I don't know. I don't care to take the time to access the Darknet because I don't give a shit. I'm fine with the regular net, but.
What, you don't want to avoid government snooping, or
I don't
to avoid publishing criminal gains?
I don't fucking care if the government wants to see that, you know, I tweet random jokes about my loneliness or inability to talk about women and then look at, you know, pictures of Sasha Grey. I don't give a shit. Like I don't do anything all that.
I always thought those are truthful.
Yep. No, they are truthful. I'm not saying any of that is wrong or a lie. I'm just saying like it's like it's like, well, yeah, we checked up on him. He checked Facebook a bunch. A lot of cute girls that he's had improv classes with that he doesn't talk to anymore, but is friends with on Facebook. Then he visited some Dungeons and Dragons subreddit, looked at pornography, a lot of pornography, and then played Far Cry 4 for a while. My God.
Unless Sasha Grey was the chick from Pulp Fiction, because one of these pictures alludes to that, I didn't know who she was. But
how could you not know who she was?
I don't know.
She was on Entourage.
I'm so old. I'm out of the loop that you kids are in these days.
Nah, she retired like a couple of years ago. I don't know. It was just the first name that came to my head, but yeah, I had to.
As you're closing out the window?
Yeah, as I'm like, alt tab.
They can see the reflection.
Yeah. They can see, like, they enhance my eyes, and it's just like wallpaper. Like 17 tabs all open. But yeah. So that's Darknet. Do you have any experience with Darknet or this kind of shit?
No, I don't usually use my bots that I program to surf. Buy drugs. I use them for other things.
It's true. The only thing I've ever done with bots is I once set up, because there was this big thing a couple of years back about not exactly botting a WoW. That's always been big. People who program something to like level up in WoW or generate gold, but like multi-boxing and stuff in WoW and playing like getting a bunch of accounts and when you play together with like a recruiter friend, you get extra XP and shit like that. So like getting like 4 to 8 characters, rolling them up on different accounts and playing each other. I know certain people, and like you roll a bunch of like mages and you one-shot everything, so you get dick for XP, but you can just fucking blow up anything, one button at a time, and just like leveling up characters like that.
They all look the same and they wear the same things.
Yeah, or they don't have to, but basically like rolling them all up and playing them. And I tried it once. Like I created like 4 the demo account. I forget what you call them, like just starter accounts that for and played like I think I did like 3 or 4, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Nah, but I don't care. Plus you can only get to level 20 on a starter account, and I don't feel like fucking paying actual money buying like 3 extra copies of World of Warcraft to do this. But that was a big thing for a while.
No, I can't say I've ever actually bought it in anything.
Speaking of World of Warcraft, are you still playing it?
I am, but I've been working on getting all of my followers to epic level.
Yeah, I stopped playing it really. Like I hit a wall, and I'll probably come back. But most of it came when I started playing Dragon Age Origin, and that like sucked up all my time. And Dragon Age Inquisition, which I really loved. But then I like would go back to World of Warcraft, I'd log in and do and I was just like, I'll check my things, send my followers on a mission. I was like, I don't really care. Like I can only log in once a week to raid because the raid takes like 20 minutes per wing, and they were only 2 wings until this week. And finally, the last wing opens up of the first raid, so I might do that before I get but my account closes, I think, like next week at some point, midweek, and just for time. And I was like, I'll probably come back when the raid content's out, but it's just like, I got no reason to log in anymore. Like, I leveled up the one character to 100. I did the raid content. I started leveling up another character, but then I just got bored with it because it's the same shit all over again. And once my rogue gets to level 100, I'm not going to start raiding with him too. And it's like, I don't care. Like, I got him enough gears to craft his epic glasses, but I was like, I got no reason to log in anymore. This happens to me a lot. Like, I'll play and I'll be like, yeah. It's over now. When it becomes a tedious thing, I just stop playing.
I get really addicted to, if nothing else, just going on and picking up all my garrison resources and all that jazz and doing like my follower quests, and then, I
did that. I did a lot of the follower quests, and I basically got my garrison. Like, all my stuff is 3rd level in my garrison, and I can't craft, like, I'm wearing enough, like all the gear.
I don't believe all your stuff is 3rd level in your garrison.
Not all of it. Most of it is.
You can't get the 3rd level of the pet menagerie unless you win 1,000 battles and drain all.
I haven't even unlocked it because the highest level pets I have are like level 9, and I just like I don't feel like running around and fucking leveling those pets right now. That seems tedious. I don't even like I like the idea of pet battles so much, but I don't actually practically like the. I don't like them in practice. Like, it's just like I have Pokemon on my DS. I can just be playing Pokemon right now, and that's a lot more fun. There's a lot more pets in that. So I don't know. I just kind of ran out of steam, and it basically happens to me. I'll play for like a month or two, run out of steam. I'll probably come back in a couple of months when all the raid content's there, because I like that I can that I can actually do the raid content now. For the last few expansions, with looking for raid, I can do I can beat. I beat the giant black dragon guy, and then I beat the orc guy. Whatever, who took over shit. I don't even fucking remember. Yeah, Garrosh and Deathwing. I got to do that content finally. I didn't have to join a raid guild or anything. So I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of done playing for a while.
No, I mean that totally happens to me. Of course, I've never stopped paying for it. Unfortunately, I usually pay for it through my down times.
I stopped because it seems like such a waste, and I will go a year and a half between bouts of playing, especially if there's not I'll do it and then I'll stop playing for like a year until the next expansion comes out. So.
Well, for me, it used to be like, especially back in college, because there were people that I saw. I was like, we were all playing together and we were enjoying doing stuff together. So I was really into playing a lot, even if I didn't really like the content or kind of burned down on it. But I'd stick around because I had a lot of friends. But since then, a lot of my friends have stopped playing, and so I go on, and my guild is very quiet, and there's very few people around, or people have moved to other servers because the guild got so quiet that it's. I
was the same. I started paying at like 6 months in during Vanilla WoW, 6 months after launch, and paid for maybe 5-6 years straight. All the way because I play with people, and then I was into like raiding guilds. So even though when it got tedious, I would still I would feel obligated to go. But ever since after Lich King, I stopped, and then I didn't play until the next expansion, and then I just really haven't even joined a guild for the most part since Lich King. I joined one massive guild. I think the guild that the Instance runs. And then I didn't talk to anyone there, and I didn't really do anything with them. And then I've basically been running around guildless, soloing to top level, and then looking for raid, and it's fun. I get to experience the content, but I've got no social pull keeping me there, which is part of the reason why, like you said, you continue to do it.
It's a massive multiplayer, and if you're not getting that part, I mean, I usually go between WoW and TF2, but TF2 kind of you can only play that before it's super repetitive.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Skywatch to come out. Then I'll have no reason to play anything other than Blizzard games.
Yeah. Overwatch.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, I was like, Skywatch. Is that the next raid or something? I don't know what that is. I don't pay attention to the content that much, as I've stated. I don't understand half of what's going on because I haven't read Quest text in
forever.
years. I don't read it anymore. I skip past it. So anyways, speaking of skipping past things, I think we skip past all this bullshitting and start plugging each other. So I was waiting for somebody to go, oh yeah, but then Joe's not here, so we'll just not do that. My plug for this week is a sketch from my sketch group called Simpler Times. It was written by me, performed by 2 other people, and I think it turned out pretty well. You know, it's the first the first sketch I've written that made it into YouTube and Funny or Die. So I'm happy about it. And you can check it out by either going to the website, searching Simpler Times on Funny or Die, or just checking out the show notes for this episode. Because thanks to Squarespace 7, we can start doing show notes again.
And I'm going to plug, check out, I think I said it before, but Veritasium is the name of the channel on YouTube. If you're a really big nerd like me, you'll enjoy Veritasium. It's kind of a sciencey math channel. And they posed the interesting question this week that would you, if I were to flip a coin, if you call it in the air and you're right, I'll give you $10, but if you're wrong, you give me $10, would you take that bet? So check it out, Veritasium.
I don't like gambling, so I wouldn't, but, you know, other people might. It's a 50-50 chance.
Like, yeah, is it worth it? Is the risk worth the reward?
Yeah, I mean, there's a 50% chance you'll come out of it with $10. That's not a huge reward, but not a huge risk either.
Well, and it's a bit of a spoiler then, because I think it would be a perfect video for you, Eric, maybe.
Yeah.
At least the old Eric from when we first started doing this show, that really what he was trying to make an allegory for was if you rejected every time somebody offered you a risk, how much you would lose out on. But if you took a risk on everything and said yes to everything that came your way, you might lose some, but you more often than not win some, and your life will be that much richer.
True. But also gambling's bullshit. So it's a toss-up. Anyways, that's the show for this week. Hopefully Joe will decide he wants to do these shows again by next week. But until then,
for a week, and then decide to not take another week off.
Then go off to some other fucking country. Anyways, until then, thank you guys so much for listening. You check out the website, justcoolenough.com. You can always email us at the show at justcoolenough.com. And if you don't find me too particularly off-putting, you can always follow me on Twitter at Duncor, D-O-N-C-O-R.
Or you can follow me on Instagram at Ike_Dodge.
Yep. And until next week, have a wonderful weekend and see you next week. See you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Just awkward silence.